midnight and my husband's sleeping right now, so I don't want to wake him, but I wanted to do the intro to this because I plan on reading all day tomorrow. I've heard so much about these two books, like so much about these two books. One Dark Window and Two Something Something, Two Twisted Crowns. One Dark Window, Two Twisted Crowns. I've heard so many things about these two books and I really want to read them. So I've decided to do that. I've decided to read both books this week, whatever. I'm reading them, both of them. And I'm very excited. I don't really have much knowledge on these books. I just know that it's a gothic fantasy. And I'm very excited about that because I love a good gothic fantasy. I'm kind of in my like epic gothic fantasy era with like a focus in dark academia. And so I'm like pretty excited about it. And yeah, like the covers are gorgeous. Stunning. I love this. Like I just love everything about this. Don't look at my nails. Just don't look at my nails, okay? Just focus on the book. Stop looking at my nails. And I love the cover for this. It reminds me a lot of, it was about this girl and she could like raise the dead. It's on the tip of my tongue. Her name was Tia, but it was spelled T. The Bone Witch. The Bone Witch. That's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of the Bone Witch, yeah? A little bit, yeah? I feel like it's in that same bank. No, that's not the word that I'm looking for. In that same, gosh, what is the, like degree, that same degree? I don't think that's what I'm trying to say either. I don't know what the word is. It's like in the same, you know what I'm trying to say. You understand. You get me. We get each other. We are on the same wavelength. So, just like these books were, is that it? Maybe? I don't know. Anyways, it doesn't matter. It reminds me of The Bone Witch, just like the cover of it. I don't know what it's about, so I don't know if the story is similar to The Bone Witch, so couldn't help you with that. But the covers do feel similar. They feel ominous. They feel similar. I'm excited. Maiden, Monster, Martyr. I love that. Maiden, Monster, also Maiden, Monster. Okay. I love this, and it's called a dark, lush, gothic fantasy debut. So I'm excited about this. Again, I've heard nothing but good things, like nothing but good things. I haven't heard a bad thing about either of these books. And, well, I haven't heard a bad thing about this book. I hear a lot of people being like, I really need to read this book. Like, everybody who's read this book has been like, I want to read this book ASAP because it's supposed to be amazing. So I'm excited. That's what we're doing today. And I hope you stay tuned because I'm going to give all of my thoughts at the end of this vlog. Okay. I'm going to go to sleep now because, again, it's like midnight and my husband is asleep. And so I should be asleep too. But I will get started on reading this tomorrow morning. Probably not in the morning. Maybe like afternoon. Tomorrow afternoon. But yeah. Okay. Let's go. When you in the next, it's gonna be, give it a second. One Dark Window is done. I finished this. This was absolutely incredible, absolutely amazing. It is a gothic fantasy, and this on a whole different level, in a whole different ball game. I was pleasantly surprised. I don't even want to say I was pleasantly surprised because I wasn't surprised. I didn't really know what to go into expecting this, but it was so good. So this book takes place in Blunder, which is not a real place, but it's in Blunder, and the whole town or city or whatever, village, is surrounded by a mist. And so what happened was there used to be this king, he's the Shepherd King, and he traded certain things for these Providence cards that give you magic. And because of this, the people stopped going into the forest to ask the spirit for magic, and she got very, very jealous. And so what happened was she created the mist to make people want to go into the forest and like create these magical abilities. The unfortunate aspect of that is that the magic becomes so intrusive in themselves that it begins to degenerate themselves and they die. They always, always, always at the end will die one way or another. They have these Providence cards though. People have these Providence cards, that's what they can use. The King Rowan has declared that these are the only lawful magic. Anyone that's infected needs to die because it's just not safe. It's just not safe enough to have the infected roaming the streets. And so in order to get rid of all of the infection and push back the mist, you have to put the deck back together, and like that'll save everyone somehow. I don't know how exactly, but it does. Anyways, and the only thing is that there's one card that's missing that no one knows where it is. No one's ever heard of, like, there's no record of this card at all. And so that is like the difficult aspect of it all. This book was so good. Like, it was just amazing. You've got our main character, Elspeth. She is infected. She got infected, and she has this like monster in her head, and he is the nightmare. Reading this, Maiden, Monster, Martyr, it makes so much sense now. Like, once you get to the very end, you're like, oh, I get it. I get it. I get it. It's so... just everything about this was just amazing. Even the title was just amazing. Everything about it, all of the little Easter eggs that you realize after you've read the book, it's just very, very fun. So you've got our main character, you've got our main character, Elspeth. She's infected. She has this like monster in her head, and he basically gives her ultimate strength, ultimate eyesight, like all of the characteristics of a cat. They keep referring to her yellow eyes as cat-like, and this monster that's in her head has claws, and so I'm feeling like it's just like a huge feline type of thing, slash wolf, slash monster, slash thing. So that's kind of what I was picturing in my head, at least. She calls him the Nightmare, and he just kind of lives rent-free in her head. And then you've got Raven. He is the captain of the guard. They're called Dustiers or something like that. I can't remember what they're called, but we'll just call him captain of the guard because that's something I can pronounce. So you've got Raven, he's captain of the guard, and then there's Prince Elm. He's the second heir, but none of the royals like him because they find him to be weak. And then there's Jesper, and she is Raven's sister. Emery is their youngest brother. And then Ion, I think she's kind of like one of my favorites. I know she's not in this, like, she's not a prominent character. She's definitely a secondary character. But Ion is like, she's so amazing. She's so great. She is the cousin of Elspeth. And I really like their relationship. I really like, no matter what, I feel as though Ion is somewhere trying to take care of Elspeth. No matter what, like, I feel as though that bond is just sacred and it's just not going to be broken by any magical component. So that was really cool. And then, I don't know, like, there's a lot of characters, but there's like our main players, and they're the ones that are like important in the story. I really, really enjoyed just the visual aspect of this book. It's very gothic, it's very dark, it's very eerie. It just was like so good. It was just very, very good. I really liked it. I loved everything about this book. So I'm very, very excited to follow up and read Two Twisted Crowns. I'm very excited to read this one because I'm wondering if it's a reference to something that happened in this book with a particular rose. And so I'm wondering if, like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, I would love that. I'm wondering. So there is a little bit of a romance subplot in this book, but I don't think you can continue with it with the ending that we have. I don't think that I have no idea. I'm interested. We're gonna find out what happens in this book, so let's get started with this one. I finished both of these books. I finished them pretty swiftly, might I add. I think I took about 2 days to finish each book, so 4 days altogether. I just want to say, one, these are not difficult to read, and two, I was like gobbling them in. Like, I was gobbling them up, okay? I really wanted to read these books. I was really like determined to read these books, especially after I finished this one. This one I got sucked into, and everything about it just like completely enveloped me. And then when I got to this one, I was like, I have to know what happens. Like, I have to understand what happens. And so reading these books ended up being very easy, and I want to just like stop and discuss that. There's so much that happens in this book that is like, I don't know, like my heart was just like racing. I really, really, really loved this book. I loved it so much. I definitely would give this 4 stars. 100% would give this 4 stars. I think what could have made this book better is the risks that happened. I just wish one of the mains people, like one of the main characters, I wish instead of there being like dungeons or anything like that, like there didn't seem to be a major threat. I just felt like, well, everything's gonna work out in the end. I don't know how it's gonna work out, but everything's gonna work out in the end. And it wasn't until the very end of the book that I was like, maybe things will work out in the end. I have no idea. But throughout the book, I had a very strong sense of everything's gonna be fine, because this is a standard book. Like, this is just how books work out. Like, the hero always wins in the end, right? And so that would be my only thing, is that I felt the whole time, I was like, the hero's gonna win, like it's gonna be fine, the hero's gonna win, it's gonna be fine. And that would be the only thing that I could think of. Hi, honey. Hi, honey. That would be the only thing that I could think of to make this a 5-star book, is if there was more to gamble with, I suppose. Like, if, I don't want to like spoil anything, but at the same time, like I'm gonna have to spoil a little bit. There seemed to be too happy of an ending, and it was a little bit too predictable to be a happy ending. I'm not saying that what happens is predictable. I'm saying that, or like how things happen, that's not predictable. What was predictable is the fact that I knew it was gonna be okay for the most part. Like, I knew certain people just weren't gonna die, and I wished that I didn't know that. I wish it did happen, so. There's that. And then the second book, again, I would probably give this another 4 stars. I might give this one 4.5 and this one 4, like maybe 4.25, just a little bit less than this one, because like they both were outstanding and fantastic. With this one, I really loved that we have 3 points of view in this book. I loved that. The first book is single POV, and it was great because you needed it to be single POV to keep a lot of things secret and like keep that going where you didn't know what was going to happen next. So that was important. But this being 3 points of view, like it was great because you had a lot of access into other scenes, and that made this book a lot of fun. I do think that one of the POVs did not need to be the majority of this book. I felt as though she didn't have enough plot to work with to make a second book, to justify a second book. And so she threw in the third POV in order to justify this much of a book. Because to be frank, this book could have been, without the second plot line, this book could have been at least 200 pages shorter. Like, it could have been just like a very quick, it honestly, this could have just been one book. This could have been one book. I still greatly enjoyed it. greatly enjoyed it. And I still very much appreciated every single thing that happened in this book. But could it have been one book? Yes. Yes, it could have. It did not need to be 2 books. I still loved it though. Like, I still loved this book. I still loved this series. I still would recommend this series to anyone who is looking for a dark gothic fantasy, anyone who is trying to get into a dark feminine energy and unlock that. I highly, highly recommend this series. It was amazing. It was fantastic. Again, I loved the characters, I loved the plot, I loved everything about it. It was just wonderful. There were times where I was gasping. Towards the end, I was reading like my life depended on it. It was just absolutely phenomenal, absolutely amazing. And I'm glad that these are the first 2 books that I read this year. Like, this was fantastic. This is great. So yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to do that. Become one of my friends and like, comment, subscribe, all of the videos. You know what to do, the YouTube things. In later videos, I am hoping to get some other series in. I am really excited that I've knocked a series down for my series tracker, as you know. And I think that's pretty much it. I'm just gonna set these down right here. Look at that. I have a space to put books that I've read. Oh, maybe I should put them in like order though. Okay. Sweet. All right, I'm gonna get going. That's it that I have for right now, but I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, morning, night, wherever you are. And I'll see you in my next video. Okay, bye.